What's up, fight fans? Welcome to my channel. This is Johnny, and in today's video we're going to be going over the statistics that nobody talks about when mentioning this weekend's co-main event at 154 pounds between the undefeated knockout artist Charles Conwell and his Mexican opponent Jorge Chino Garcia. Guys, before I continue, I want to say thank you to all the new subscribers. Thank you to everybody who's been with me since day one. Could you also please remember to hit subscribe? A lot of you guys are watching my content and unaware that you haven't done that yet, 80% of you to be precise, so that'll really help me out and help the channel continuously grow. Also, like this video and be sure to go down to the bottom of your screen right now and hit the bell notification button so you can be notified every time I put something out that's new. Appreciate that. All right, guys, we have another week of boxing. There's a few cards, a lot of cards actually, going on this weekend, 2 in the UK, 1 in the US that we will be featuring fights from. This is the co-main on the ladies' takeover in Oceanside, California, headlined by Gabriela Fundora taking on Marilyn Badillo. That's an undisputed title fight for all the belts. This is the co-main on that card. Cleveland, Ohio's own. Bad news, Charles Conwell is taking on Chino, Jorge Garcia. This is a fun matchup. So in today's video, we're going to go over both fighters' resumes, talk about what they've been up to, give insights on how each fighter goes about their business. Also, we're going to be going over those Las Vegas odds, so stay tuned to the end of this video. I'll be giving you my prediction on where to put your money so you can make the most of yours. Let's get into this. All right, guys, at my gym here in Sydney, when I'm dealing with new clients, corporate clients, not athletes, and I'm teaching them the fundamentals of boxing, one of the first things I talk about is developing your own style. I go in a little bit depth on how each fighter has their own cadence, how they move within the ring. Fundamentals will be basic. Jabs, crosses, the punch combination, how to properly move your feet. But over time, when you learn the sport, you develop your own movement patterns. With Jorge Chino Garcia, it's one of the things that pop off the paper for me when I'm studying his film tape is how he moves. His cadence is almost like a clock going back and forth, and he is a tricky opponent to deal with at 154 pounds. A, because of his length, B, because of his reach, and that awkward, tricky style. As soon as the bell rings, he's on sort of a march to get inside, and he doesn't do it traditionally. He's not sliding in and out. He's kind of here, 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 and he's really fun to watch. When I look at his tapes, I go back to the fight that he had against Reyes after his most recent loss. Now, he has won 7 in a row. 5 of those have come by knockout. He is 32-4 with 26 knockouts. All 4 of his losses have been by decision. 3 of them split, 1 unanimous. So give or take a couple calls either way, this guy could easily be undefeated. In my opinion, this is his biggest step up into competition against Charles Conwell. That aforementioned Reyes fight, he was coming off a split decision loss to William, and it's a great fight to start at in terms of, if you're unaware of Chino, to see how he overcomes a loss. And he started with that methodical style. He started pressuring his fighter, and it was an 8-round fight, and he eventually got the 7th round knockout. What he wants to do is confuse his opponent with his timing, throw a lot of off-timing counters, stay in your wheelhouse, get into the pocket like a traditional Mexican style fighter, not take too many back steps, and force you to fight him. This is why over a month ago when Golden Boy announced this fight as the co-main, true boxing fans were like, what? We were really excited because styles make fights. With his opponent, bad news Charles Conwell, I mean this in all of the good faith that I can, but if we look back and think about when Subriel Matias and Maxim Dadashev fought, and we know how horrific that fight ended, we know how brutal the sport can be, we know how dangerous boxing is. It's why on my channel, you'll never hear me bash fighters, because these guys put their whole lives on the line, and sometimes they don't make it out. And after Subriel Matias and Dadashev fought, you know what happened to Maxim? He passed away in the hospital. And this then went on to create this aura around Subriel Matias is becoming the boogeyman. But when you think about Charles Conwell, this happened to him as well. And I'm not saying any fighter ever goes in there and wishes harm on their opponent. But from the boxing community's standpoint, I don't hear a lot of people talking about Charles Conwell being a dangerous fighter, because rest in peace to Patrick Day. This also happened in a Conwell fight. And when I remind people that in the boxing forums, they then have to look it up, and they immediately come back to me and say, wow, I can't believe people don't talk about that. But it's a fact, it happened, and you hear Conwell talk about it, and he's highly reverent, he's a super well-spoken, amazing athlete, and he always talks nothing but kind words to all of his opponents. But I bring this up because he is a dangerous man. They call him bad news for a reason, and I feel he's one highlight reel viral knockout away from everybody in the boxing world knowing and speaking about Conwell how they used to speak about Subriel Matias. So with Conwell, Orthodox fighter, Cleveland, Ohio, His style is more traditional. What he wants to do is a little bit more predictable, but what he does really well are the fundamentals. He comes in with that guard. He wants to close the distance as well, just like his opponent Chino. He wants to stay in that wheelhouse. He doesn't take many backward steps. He's going to be the smaller fighter, more compact fighter, but the way he works the body, in my opinion, is the X factor. He will break that ego down. All of his fights, he's undefeated. He breaks his opponent's mental down by breaking the body down. And what he does really well, I love the basic technical combo of lead hand, body to the liver, up top. He gets a lot of body shot knockdowns. He gets a lot of liver knockdowns, but he gets a lot of knockouts to the head. But it all starts with the body. So this is going to be an exciting matchup between two guys who aren't going to want to take too many backward steps. Right now, guys, I want to remind everybody about the event taking place this weekend in Oceanside, California. All right, guys, undefeated Charles Conwell is taking on fellow contender Jorge Chino Garcia in a Golden Boy co-main. Charles Conwell is 21-0 with 16 knockouts, and he spent the last several years treading water, smashing his way through mid-level opponents without ever seeming to really approach a title shot. That said, a win here could change all of that. Chino Garcia is 32-4 with 26 knockouts. We last saw him battling his way past Kudratio Abdukakarov in November. He sits right behind him in the WBO rankings at number 3, meaning whoever wins here should be next in the queue, right behind Xander Zayas. It should also be a solid scrap. Conwell's knocked out 5 of his last 6, and 3 of Garcia's 4 losses came by close split decision. Like I said earlier, when Golden Boy announced this a little over a month ago, we were really excited to hear about this matchup. Both guys have an opportunity to force the boxing heads, the powers that be, to put them in a contender position and a potential title eliminator, because I don't hear anyone calling out Charles Conwell, and Chino could easily take that sort of hype around Conwell and put himself right there with that record of his. So right now, let's take a closer look and see what Chino Garcia has been up to. Guys, Jorge Garcia Perez is the number 12 ranked super welterweight in the world out of 2,202. He has 172 career pro rounds fought, and he carries into the ring an 82% career knockout to win ratio. His adoring fans know him as Chino, and he's 28-year-old Mexican Orthodox fighter standing at 6 feet tall. He hails from Los Mochis, Sinaloa, Mexico. We last saw him fight SOD, 22-2 knockout in the first. Knapp, 16-1 knockout in the third. Ramirez, 21-2 knockout in the first. Johnson, 10-0 UD in the 10th. Cernas, 18-9 knockout in the second. Guys, like I said earlier, this will be his biggest step up in opponents, but when you ask each fighter, this is exactly what they want. This is exactly what they got into the sport to do. Personal development. They want to see how much better they can get from fight to fight, and Charles Conwell will give Chino that exact opportunity. He will stand there to get hit. He will be there to exchange, and this is why both fan bases are extremely excited to see the outcome of this fight. Now let's take a closer look at his opponent from Cleveland, Ohio. Bad news, Charles Conwell. Guys, Conwell's 21-0 with 16 knockouts out of 2,202 super welterweights in the world. He's ranked number 10. He carries into the ring a 76% knockout to win ratio and has a career 107 professional rounds fought. His adoring fans call him Bad News. The 27-year-old American's an Orthodox fighter standing at 5'9" with a 70-inch reach. He hails from Cleveland, Ohio. We last saw him fight Vergara, 20-0 knockout in the 7th. Gray, 18-6 knockout in the 2nd. Gallimore, 22-7 knockout in the 6th. Abreu, 25-6 majority decision in the 10th. Ramirez, 19-9 knockout in the 3rd. With Charles Conwell, his plan of attack is going to be predictable. We already talked about that. We know what he's going to want to do. He's a fun fighter because he doesn't ever engage in backwards fights. He wants to test his opponent's ego. He wants to put his power on full display, and he wants to, at the end of the day, knock his opponent out. He has one close fight on his record, the majority decision, at least over his last 5 fights. We saw some flaws in his game. He sometimes can get hit a lot and can be lulled into a dogfight. As of now, up until this stage of his career, his opponent's skill set, he's always the one to come out on top. But we know boxing is a sport of what have you done for me lately? All it takes is one exchange to change everything on both sides of each fighter's career. When you look at both guys side by side, the age really isn't going to be a factor. Both men are in their physical primes. Chino's going to have the height advantage. He's going to have the reach advantage. Both guys are going to be orthodox fighters, and it's going to come down to Chino's durability. Will he be able to use his awkward style to affect the tempo of Charles Conwell, affect the timing and the space and distance. And if he is able to do that early, how long will he be able to hold up in doing that? Will Conwell be able to get inside? Will he be able to elude the jab of Chino? Will he be able to break Chino's body down and force Chino into a brawl in the phone booth? And who will be the most durable? Who will have the toughest chin at the end of the day? I think that's going to be the storyline and narrative of this fight. You have to think about the winner will project themselves directly into a title contender position, especially with a highlight reel knockout. When we talk about the odds and where Las Vegas has their money, let's take a look at that right now. Guys, I know you ask me all the time. I use an app down here in Australia called Sportsbet. Currently, the method of victory bet is not being offered, but as we get closer to the weekend, when they do open those lines up, I'll post it in the community section like I did last week and like I do every week. So let's get those apps out. All right, guys, currently the money line sits here. Charles Conwell is $1.13 favorite, meaning if you put $100 on Conwell to just win, you get $13 back plus your money. The draw's 21-1. Jorge Garcia is $6.75, meaning you put $100 for him to just win, you get $5.75 back. Now, when I look at both guys and where I feel most comfortable putting my money, especially watching their last 5 fights, how they go about their business, the stylistic matchup, everything we covered in this video, I'm actually pretty comfortable that Charles Conwell's power and style is going to eventually wear down a very tough Chino Garcia. I'm very confident in Charles Conwell getting the victory here, and I'm actually right now going to pick him to knock out Chino. I know Chino's never been finished. He's tough as nails. He's carrying into the ring a higher knockout to win percentage. His only losses, 3 close splits and a unanimous decision, but he's never fought a guy with the power of Charles Conwell. He's never fought a guy with the skill set of Conwell. I just think at this stage of the careers, this matchup fits perfectly for Conwell to put on display and showcase the danger he possesses. You guys do not have to agree with me. This is not an echo chamber. In the comment section below, do you guys think Chino's going to go into Oceanside, California and upset the odds and beat the Cleveland, Ohio product? Or do you think bad news is going to continue his upward trajectory into a potential future title shot? Leave all that in the comment section below.